Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hope everybody is doing well. I hope you guys had a good day. Had a very good, productive day. So that was a good thing. All right. So what do we got in here? Dale from Ohio. JJ's in the house. Carol Prince. Kimberly Swanson. Wishika's here. Delbert Jones. Um, let's see who else we got here. Paul Andrews. So Janet is in the house. Welcome, Janet. That Garden Life is also here. So good to see everybody. I hope everybody's doing good. We got Rose, Prepper, Delbert. Hell, seriously, she's gonna start right away. You were already out. You're not going anywhere else. So relax. Go chill out, please. All right. No, no, stop. No, no. You were just out. Not no. Oh my gosh. All right. So anyway, um, before we jump into anything, I just want to remind everybody that this is a very family-friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches will boot you out of here. I would also like to remind you if the trolls do come in, which they do occasionally, please do not engage with them. Let the moderators take care of them. Again, I do appreciate that. It just, they want their attention, and if we don't give it to them, then that they don't get the attention that they seek. So, what do we got? 105 people in the chat already. We have 32 thumbs up, folks. So, real quick, I'm going to ask right off the bat if you have not shot that thumbs up yet, which 75% of you have not. Please do so to show support for the channel. And I do appreciate that. It really does make a big, big difference with the algorithms as well. And I thank you for that reason as well. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And thank you ahead of time. All right. We're going to address a couple things first. We're going to get into the chat a little bit later. I was reading the comments from the earlier video, and one of the ones that kind of stood out to me, you should have a year's worth of propane on site. All right. The average person, if they allow you, okay, if you were working with a propane company, like when I was in New York, I had a propane company that I worked with. I had a 300-pound propane tank in New York, okay? They would never fill it completely full. So they might fill it to 270 pounds if you were lucky, okay? A year's worth of propane. I don't think anybody does have a year's worth of propane. You know how much propane that would be realistically? I will tell you what I keep here, okay? I have 400-pound tanks that I keep here. Plus, I also have, what do I got? 7? I have 7 20-pound tanks. All right. So that's 540 gallons of propane that I have at any one time, which is way more than most people have. Okay. Way, way more. I try not to use my 100-pound tanks. Those are reserve. If, emergency, if I got stuck here and couldn't get out for any length of time, I hook up a 100-pound tank and I'm good for a while. Okay. So, having that much propane will draw attention to the authorities real quick. Well, if you have 1,000, pounds of propane, people are going to start going, why do you have that? You know what I mean? It's just, they don't generally do, like I said, the average person, if they're lucky, like when my sister I'll give you a good example, okay? When my sister got her propane tank put into the property up in New York, all right, they would only give her, she wanted a 300-pound tank. They would only give her a 100-pound tank. I think that's what they did. I wonder if they changed that out and gave her a bigger tank. I don't remember. I can't, because when I was up there, I don't remember. Because I don't know how big that other tank was. I'll have to ask. But I know initially, maybe she does have a 300-pound tank up there now. But initially, when she got her propane, they would only give her a 100-pound tank. They would not let her have a 300-pound tank. They actually asked Heather if she, because Heather doesn't use a lot of propane, okay? If Heather uses 50 pounds of propane in a year because she just uses it for heating water, okay? If she uses 50 pounds of propane in a year, that's a lot. They asked her if she wanted to downsize and go to a smaller tank, and she told them no. And I told her, never downsize. You keep what you got. If they'll only fill it to 260 and something goes haywire and sideways, you got a lot of propane for a long time. So that was kind of my thought process there. So I do have plenty of propane, folks. But when I start getting low, when I start running through tanks, that's when I end up wanting to get out to get them filled up. Now, so I was concerned about getting out of the driveway today because you have no idea, okay? A lot of you guys have not been down here. The people that have been down here and know the hill, really know the hill. When you see it on video, it's completely different than in real life, okay? Literally, I will tell you this. When people come in for the very first time to my property and they hit the top of the hill, every single one of them stops their vehicle, they get out, and they make sure that the road continues down, okay? They do not just drive over it because it's a dead drop. I mean, you can't see it in your vehicle. Stop it. No. So, you can't tell. And it goes over the crest and it comes down. So it's very, very steep trying to get up this hill. All right. That's why a lot of times, if I know that there's snow coming and we're going to have a decent amount of snow, I park on top because I can get out from the upper meadow with no problem. Okay. Yeah, Kim's been here. She says it's scary. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, so started up the hill today. And again, there's snow on the hill. That's just the way that it is. I got almost all the way to the top and the truck stops. Right. And I'm like, no, come on. And I kept hitting the gas. And I kind of rocked it up, got it up over, and we got out. The other part of the driveway, there's where you go out, the final part, it kind of goes up too, but it's a more of a gradual increase, and got out of there without any issues at all. Okay. So, yeah. So, I mean, it's just, people are like, oh, well, you're a prepper. You should have plenty of this and plenty of that. And I do, folks. Okay. I do. It's not like I'm running out of anything. I could stay down here for months and never leave the property, and I'm going to be just fine. Okay. But I like to keep things topped up. I don't want to have a whole bunch of empty tanks and wait to the last minute and then try to go fill them, because if something happens, right, an emergency, weather, SHTF situation, I don't want to have 15 empty propane tanks and go, oh, I got one propane tank left. So that's why, okay? But the snow there is quite beautiful. I do not envy your struggles getting in and out of. Yeah, it's like I said, in the wintertime, I need to park in the upper meadow. So anyway, the other part, I wanted to let you guys know this. So when we went out and did our running, got the propane tanks filled, did the grocery shopping, got the laundry done. And I've done laundry here at the homestead. I've showed you guys that I can do laundry here at the homestead. All right. This time of year, I would hang it in the pavilion if I needed to dry it, fire up the wood stove. Okay. If I had to do laundry here at the homestead, I can. It's not like I can't. Is it more convenient to go out and go to the laundromat and do it? Yes. So while I have that convenience, I'm going to do it. It's as simple as that, okay? But I've showed you, like over this summer, how many times have I done laundry? A ton of times. And you'll see laundry hanging up on the laundry line outside, because that's what I do a lot of times in the summer. If I don't feel like going out, I can just do my laundry. I don't have to worry about it, okay? So anyway, so when we came back, we were actually gone for like 6.5 hours. And the biggest problem was We had a bunch of stops that we had to make, and then I went to Walmart. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, they have the small washers. That would be nice. Yes, and then I could just hang stuff in the pavilion in the wintertime and dry it that way. Or like I said, if it's summertime, I could, I would like to do that. I may do that down the road. I don't know. We'll see. But for right now, I just do what I have to do, and that's the way that I do it. But so when we came back, like I said, we were gone. People like to complain. Well, they do nada. Well, that's true too. But these little 25 and 30-pound tanks are only filled to 80%. Not when you go to somebody private, they top it off. I don't do an exchange, guys. I don't do the exchange. I go to a guy that sells propane. He fills the tanks. Okay, so they are full. You're not getting 80% or 70% like you would if you're doing an exchange. I go to a guy that does it private, well, not privately, but he's got his own business and he fills the tanks, because the fuller the tank, the more money he's going to make. Okay, that's just a fact. Okay, just so you know. So anyway, by the time we got back, now when we left, nobody had been in and out of this driveway for about 9 days. And as we went out of the driveway, you could tell nobody's been on the road at all. Okay. When we came back, our tire marks where we had driven out, a lot of the snow had melted. So I told Steve, I said, listen, I said, I don't care if I can't get back out. I'm not lugging all this stuff down the hill and making 5 trips to get everything in. I said, we're pulling all the way in. So I pulled all the way in. We unloaded everything. I picked up more dog food, another 50-pound bag of dog food, because I was down one. So I want to keep, almost 300 pounds of dog food available to me, because I like to have enough food for my dogs. Picked up another 12 cans of their wet food as well. The cats are fine. I got plenty of food for them. So, the dogs go through food. It's just what it happens. But so anyway, drove down, unloaded everything, and then I turned around and drove back up the hill and parked the truck on top of the hill, because, that way I'm good to go. When I was out today, I will tell you. So people keep making such a big deal about this stupid flannel that I wear. Okay. The flannel is beat to crap. Okay. It is beat to crap. That's why I wear that flannel when I deal with the dogs, because the dogs do like to jump on me. And yes, I knee them in the chest. Okay. They're excited. They are happy to see me. They want to be around me. They want their attention. So they jump on me. All right. Why am I going to wear a nice jacket when I know that it's just going to get mudded up and crapped up anyway? So yeah, I wear a ratty old jacket. I didn't even wash it when I went out today. I didn't wash that jacket. You know why? Because I don't care. That's my jacket for dealing with the dogs, and that's it. Period. Okay. So, I'll wear the same pair of pants every day that I deal with the dogs. So then what I'll end up doing is if I'm going to go do something else, or if I'm going to leave or whatever, I'll put on a clean pair of pants. But if I'm dealing with the dogs, like you saw me wearing the black pair of pants, probably in videos or whatever, okay? They were a mess. Now, I did wash those, okay, because I wanted them clean. But, again, it's like, if I'm dealing with something that I know I'm going to get dirty, I don't care what it looks like. Now, like this here, okay, went out today and I bought a new sweatshirt. I'll explain something else to you too. So when I bought 2 of them, actually, I bought another one as well. I went out today and I also bought a new pair of sweatpants. Now, I will tell you what I do. All right. I don't care what you guys do. You can do whatever you want to do. You want to buy brand new clothes all the time, whatever. That's great. I'm happy for you. I don't. Okay. If I find something that I like my ex-wife used to say to me, you'll get the same shirt in 5 different colors, but it'll be the exact same style. I go, yeah, if I like it, that's what I want to wear. And I'll get the different colors because that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Okay. So, that's, but anyway, so I had 2 pair of sweatpants since I was with my ex-wife. Okay. Since I was with my ex-wife, I had 2 pair of sweatpants. The one I had beaten up so badly, got torn. I made them into shorts before they finally wore out. Then I had this other pair. Okay. The other pair of sweatpants, I ended up and they're my lounge pants for when I'm hanging around the house. Okay. When I'm in here, I don't wear regular pants. I take my regular stuff off. I put on a pair of sweatpants, a pair of slippers, a t-shirt, and maybe a sweatshirt, whatever the case may be. I actually burnt them with the other propane tank. I was looking at Clyde. He was up on the stove, and I was looking at him, and I burned a hole in the back of him. So I said, well, after 14 years, 15 years, it's finally time to go buy a new pair of sweatpants. So I bought a new pair of sweatpants as well today. So, Mimi said, if you don't like the way I look, then don't look at what I wear. Yeah, well, and it's just, it amazes me, you know what I mean? So, hey, Ed, after SHTF, how many new clothes do you think people can get then? Exactly, Delbert. I'm going to tell you what, I save a lot of my old clothes. Old pants, shirts, socks, you name it. I have a tote right now up in the loft in the pavilion. I mean, I'm talking, it's a big tote, completely full of clothes. I put mothballs in there. They're up there. Those are extra emergency clothes. They're not something that I'm wearing all the time, but I have them. You glad I'm wearing pants? Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I try to wear pants. But so that's what that is. But it's just, how many people, let me ask you this, okay? That's why being single is so peaceful. Oh my God, yeah, you have no idea. You have no idea. How many people can stay home for 8-9 days and never leave? Realistically, how many people can do? I mean, if you didn't have to go to work, right? People aren't going to just sit home. They got to go do something. They want to. They have to. For whatever reason. I'm a homebody. I would rather stay home. I don't need to go out. I don't need to socialize, in that aspect. I would rather stay home. I feel comfortable here. I love being home. There's always something to do anyway, so I'm okay with that. And I can keep busy. I can keep myself busy, and I'm perfectly content with that. So, that's just me just sharing that with you guys. So what are we up to? We got 235 in the chat, guys. We got 92 thumbs up. Again, real quick, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. I definitely appreciate that. It really does make a huge, huge difference with the algorithm. So I thank you for that as well. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell notification for all, so you get all the notifications as well. And I thank you ahead of time. So I'm not complaining, guys. I just wanted to address a couple of the comments that were made. No, I don't have a plow. I don't have the money to get a plow. So that's not something that we generally down here don't. It's not like New York, folks, okay? Generally, the average snowfall a year in West Virginia is about 20 inches. In New York, it's between 75 and 100 inches. So I'm used to that because I grew up there. I lived there for years. I know what that's like. So, down here, like I'll give you an example. When I was out today and I went to, on the way back home, it was snowing in the area that I was at. And there was a car directly in front of me. It's a 55 mile an hour zone, and they were doing about 35 miles an hour. And that makes me lose my mind. I mean, lose my mind. And as soon as it opened up and I could pass them, I passed them. Nobody else did, because I looked back later in my rear view mirror. She must have had 20 cars behind her because it's snowing and the roads are wet. And oh my God, but it wasn't so bad that you couldn't move along. If it's below freezing and the roads might be icy, different story. But it wasn't the case. So, but again, down here, people drive different than they do in New York. You know what I mean? I know how to drive in crappy weather because I've done it, my whole life, basically. So, that's another aspect of it. But, it just, I don't know. When it's bad out and I don't have to go nowhere, I'm fine with that and I'm okay. I mean, like I said, my tanks are all full now. The only thing I have left to do, okay, and I just looked at the forecast for where I'm at. We got a dusting of snow. That's all we've gotten today. We're not even supposed to get that much. The storm is going to be further north from us. So, those people are going to get hit with more snow than we are. But if I can get out tomorrow and it's okay, I want to go. The only thing I have left to do, I have one 5-gallon can of gas. It's almost empty. I'll finish putting the rest of that gas in the generator, and then I will go and I'll get that filled up. I'll top that off, and I want 4 more bales of straw because I want to put a fresh bale of straw in for the chickens. I want to put a fresh bale of straw in for the boys. And then, I'm changing straw out every single day for Kali. So, but that's kind of what that's all about. But that's all I got left to do. But anyway, let's actually try to get into. I said we didn't get dressed up for nothing, right? So what am I talking about? Oh, the puppies are awesome. I'll do another video on them. They're doing absolutely fantastic. They look great. She's taking great care of them. So yeah, it's but yeah, she's everything is really, really good. So I'm happy about all that. All right, so let's get into this. So I don't know if you guys heard or not today, we seized an oil tanker off of Venezuela. Okay. And I wanted to look into it more. So after I did the private live stream, I went in and I was doing some research on that. And I was looking at that. And they, what it was we've had sanctions on them and they're with Iran and all this type of stuff. So we went down and we took this tanker. We seized that tanker. We have got a lot of troops. We have the Gerald Ford, which is the largest aircraft carrier in the world. We have a lot of planes. We have a lot of copters. We have a lot of manpower down in that area right now. And so what I meant by we didn't get dressed up for nothing. You don't do all that for nothing. Old Mutt says, I usually have 100 gallons of gas on hand for my generators. I have probably 70, Old Mutt. Now, I had more cans that are still in New York. I used to have like 150 gallons on hand at all times. But, I left Heather a bunch of cans up there so that she would have, her own. But I probably have at least 70 gallons of gas on hand at all times. So, yeah, that's just kind of, and then I rotate it, just rotate it. Like when I go and fill up this gas can, I will take that one, put it in, and take the first one out. And then when the next one goes, I'll do the same thing. And I just rotate it around. And when I reach the end, I just start again. So, but yep, fresh in and old out. Yep. So it's a lot of fuel. How do you keep it fresh? If you are using up, okay, so I generally, the way that I did it in New York, every 6 months, I would rotate my gas, right? So if I hadn't used gas in the generators, if I didn't go through everything that I had that way, what I would do is I would just fill up my vehicle with that gas, and then I would go take those cans and I would refill those cans. If you do that every 6 months, you don't have to use any stabilizer. Now you can get stabilizer, and I do have stabilizer. That's going to keep your gas good for up to 3 years. Okay. But That I wouldn't use unless it was a SHTF situation, because then we would be using gas very sparingly. We wouldn't just be running the generator here and a generator there and doing this. Like, we wouldn't be doing that anymore. We would be using a generator if we had a project and we needed power on site for that project or whatever the case may be. That's why we would use a generator at that point. And we would want that gas to last as long as we possibly could. What you have to understand is a couple things, okay? Let's say SHTF happens and then everybody comes here and everybody merges here. They're going to be bringing gas with them as well. Then they also have whatever gas that they would have left in their vehicle. So, like, my tank on my truck is a 30-gallon tank, right? So, not only do I have this 70 gallons that I have available to use for whatever I need it, whenever I need it, I generally, if I get, I'm this is the way I am. Like today, I was down to 3/4 of a tank, and I topped it off. So I never let it go below half. I will never let my truck go below a half a tank. So I'm always making sure if I get to a certain point, I'm topping it off. That's just the way that I do it, so that I'm always going to have more gas available to me at that time. Because obviously in a true SHTF situation, you're going to have all the vehicles, so then you can drain the gas out of the ones that you don't plan on using, to use for other ones. So it's just, that's just another thought process that, and then, like I said, everybody that's here, a lot of people have gas on site. A lot of people have propane on site, and all those type of things. So, that's just kind of one of those things, that we do. So, but, yeah, but anyway, so we took over this tanker, and I guess we're keeping it, right? I got a problem with this, man. I'm telling you guys, I got a problem with this. This whole situation of the buildup of the troops down there. We flew into Venezuela airspace for about 40 minutes the other day. 2 F-18s did. We're goading them. That's what we're doing right now. We're goading them. I do not think it's healthy. I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's going to just cause all kinds of problems down the road. Why do we need? I mean, and I know, again, at the end of the day, what does it come down to? It's about oil, right? Always, in a lot of these cases, it's about oil. It's about control. It's about having a favorable government that we want in there, not that somebody else would want in there. So I think that it could lead to a lot of problems if we do something in Venezuela. I don't think it's a good thing. I think we need to stay right the heck out of there. Leave that alone. That's my opinion. The last thing we need as a country is to get involved in another conflict. So, yeah, whacking drug runners is one thing, but theft might be another. I don't disagree with that. So, but yeah, it's just the situation is getting out of hand. I don't have a problem with them snuffing out drug boats, and I don't have a problem with them going back and getting the extra couple survivors. I really don't, because they're not enemy combatants. They're not soldiers. They're not sailors. They're drug runners. Those are people taking poison, realistically, and trying to get it here to the United States, because supply and demand. If we have that demand, they're going to make sure that we have those drugs. So I don't have a problem with going scorched earth on that at all. Now, I'm hearing all this talk, okay, because you always got, this side, that side. Now, do I have firsthand knowledge? I do not. But from what I understand is they're getting the intel. They're knowing that these boats are running drugs, and that's the boats they're going after. Now, some people may say, well, how do you know? They're just killing people for no reason. I don't buy that. I really, truly don't. I'm hoping as a country we're better than that. Okay. Like I said, I have no problem taking lowlifes out of the picture. So that's my take on that. Again, if they're getting the intel and they know that these boats are running drugs, I have no problem with what they're doing. I just don't. That's, you can feel differently, and that's perfectly fine. But I don't. I have zero sympathy for that. Like I said, China don't play. China will just straight up kill you. If they catch you trafficking drugs or any of that type of stuff, they will just kill you. They don't play around in China. Um, Now, are there still drugs in China? Of course, there's still drugs in China. You're never going to get rid of it, folks. As long as people want to get high, you're never going to ever get rid of everything. It's just not going to happen. Okay, but it's just, but things have just gotten wild. I mean, just absolutely wild. So but like I said, we have enough things. Not just boats, but they're using mini subs. Oh, exactly, JJ. Yeah, they've caught submarines too. Yeah, it's big business. It's big business. So, but yeah, it's just, again, we have enough issues here in the United States, right? We can't get along as a country. We can't come together as a country. It's us and it's them, and that's the mindset of a lot of people. And to me, it's like, okay, do I think a majority of the people, not, I can't even say the majority, because I don't think it's a majority. I think it's a minority. The radical left, I think that they're insane. The radical right, I think they're insane. I don't feel like we should be pushing our values on everybody else, and you have to do what we want to do or you're wrong. Okay, I don't think that that's the way to go. I think it's an individual choice. You either do or you don't, or whatever the case may be. Okay, that's your choice. That's how I feel. That's just me. So maybe that kind of mindset is more left leaning. I don't know. But like I said, I'm a huge Second Amendment guy. That's obviously very right leaning. Okay. So, it's just, there's certain things that, for me as an individual, that I'm very strong, feel strongly about. And like I said, and there's other things that I kind of go, if it doesn't involve me, what do I care? As long, like I said, again, my thing has always been this: two consenting adults, do whatever you want to do to each other. I don't care. I don't want to see it. I'm not interested in seeing it. I don't want to see you with your dog outfit on, with somebody having a collar on you and they're walking you down the road. I don't want to see that. You want to play dog at your house and have your master and all that crap? Great. Do it in your backyard, and, have your fence up so your neighbors don't have to see it either. But, people are just, they want to, a lot of people, they want to do shock value. They want you to be upset. They want you to be, oh my God, so again, but, it's just, my thing is, like I said, live and let live. You live your life. I'll live my life. I'm not going to bother you, and I don't want you to bother me. You know what I mean? So, believe whatever you want, like I said, it's just, like I'll give you another example, guys. Here's a water bottle, right? This is a water bottle. You tell me that this water bottle is God, and I have to get down with you and worship this water bottle because you say that it's God. I don't have to do that, okay? And I'm not going to do that. And if I don't worship this water bottle, then I'm going to burn in hell forever and ever. It's not going to happen, okay? So again, it's an individual choice. You think that water bottle is the Almighty and you want to worship it? Have a great time. Enjoy yourself. I don't care, but I'm not coming along for the ride. Just saying. So anyway, I get tired of people pushing their views, whatever side, on other people and saying, you have to believe this. No, I don't. I don't have to believe anything. I can believe whatever I want to believe. And I'm going to continue to do that. I am 60 years old. And I am not changing my mind at this point. It is not happening. So, uh, but again, like I said, life is always, see, this is my thing. Life is about choices, right? I Anybody that would ask me at 27 years old, I tell people this all the time. At 27 years old, I took a good hard long look at myself and I didn't like what I saw. And I pulled my head out of my behind at 27. I made some changes, and for the better. Okay, uh, and that's just the way it is. But it was a choice. It was my choice. Nobody could tell me you need to do this, you need to do that. When I stopped doing drugs, it was because I didn't want to do it anymore. You know, um, a lot of the stuff that I was involved in, I didn't like it anymore. I didn't want to do it anymore. Easy money, oh my God, you have no idea. I could tell you stories. Easy money. But what it does to you, to your soul, to your being, that's, and is it worth it? It's not. To me, it wasn't, So I made choices. Some people never make those choices. And again, that's a choice. They made that choice, you know. Um, so, it's with anything. Um, Naive, yeah, right, exactly, JJ. Yeah, and people buy bottled water all the time now. So, but anyway, did you hear it pop the first time it came out? You know what it was? It was just. I'll give you an example of something, okay? This is just my perspective, okay? I talk about my brother, okay? My brother was my stepbrother, all right? He is 5 years younger than me, and I was a horrid influence, okay, on him. And he looked up to me. I was his older brother, and I took him under my wing, and we did a lot of stuff, okay? And I'm not going to get into all of it, but we did a lot of stuff. And his mother hated my guts, hated my guts. And I saw her one day. She worked at Wegmans. She worked at Wegmans, and she looked at me and she went, "You're a loser. You've always been a loser, and you're never going to be anything but a loser." And I laughed in her face at that time, right? And then later on, like I said, I took a good hard long look at myself, and I was pissed. I was pissed because she was right. And that really irritated the crap out of me. I made some changes, and I went back to her later on. Okay, and she's passed away now. She's been gone for a long time, but I went back to her later on, and I said, Nancy. Her name was Nancy. I said, Nancy, I want to talk to you for a second. And she was just. I mean, she was just a miserable woman, and she was like, "What?" And I said, "I want to thank you for something." And I told her, I said, "This is what you had said to me." And I said, and it just irritated the crap out of me. And I said, and I made some changes, and I did something about it. And I said, I'm not that person anymore. And she looked at me, she goes, "You hated me that much?" And I go, "No, Nancy," I said, "I never hated you at all. I hated the fact that you were right." I said, "That's what I hated. I hated the fact that you were right." And I said, and I did something about it. And again, like I said, we come to crossroads in our lives, and we have to make decisions of what we're going to do. Okay, and I will always give credit. If like I'm going to tell you what, I had an uncle that he's passed away. Cancer got him. Uncle Bill. He died at 72, so he's been gone a long time. He was my mom's older brother, and so mom is now 82, and her younger sister is now gone. And Karen died at 79, cancer as well. Mom's had cancer. I've had cancer. Both of my grandparents on my mother's side died of cancer. My grandmother's sister died of cancer. So on my mom's side, we die of old age and we die of cancer. That's it. Okay, but anyway, I was going through some issues when I was younger, and I was trying to process some things. And my uncle was a psychologist, okay, and we had a lot of conversations, and he really helped me process through some things. Like I had some severe hatred for two people, okay, and I mean hatred to the point of I wanted to see them die. Um, and so, he talked to me, and one of the things he had said to me was, when you hate somebody that eats you up, that eats you alive, and they probably don't even think of you, but you are allowing them to have that power over you. And I got, and I thought about that. And he said to me, he goes, you have to let it go. You got to let it go. And he said, there's three ways you can do it. You can write a letter. Like, so even if the person is dead, folks, okay, even if the person is dead, you can still write a letter and say how you felt, okay, and say how you felt, even if that person is dead. You can write a letter, you can make a phone call, or you can go see the person in person, face to face, and forgive them and let it go. And that's how I did it, okay. I let that go, and it's a cancer. You're right. Hatred is a cancer. Hatred only hurts the person who hates. Okay. And I did this in my early 20s, and I've never hated anybody ever since then. Now, there's people that I didn't care for, there's people that I didn't like, but I just didn't have nothing to do with those people. I just, I had a guy that I worked with. Okay, and this is down south, and I was in my 20s then, and we both worked night shift, and it was two aides on the floor at night, and I couldn't stand this guy. I mean, when I'm telling you, I really disliked this individual. So he basically would stay at one end, I would stay at the other end of the unit. When we had to do our rounds or we had to do things together, we did it because that was our job. But other than that, we stayed right away from each other. I couldn't stand him. I could not stand him. He was just such a brown noser. I never, ever liked brown nosers. I can't stand them. So, anyway, but again, it's like I don't hate anybody because I'm not going to waste my energy. I'm not going to waste my time. I have too many other things to do and too many things that I want to accomplish that I don't have the energy or the time for that. So again, it's just, when people like, oh, well, like they hate a race of people or whatever the case. I'm like, why? It's not everybody. I'll give you a real quick another example. I worked with a kid again, this is down south again. This was in North Carolina. So I was working full-time at the psychiatric hospital, and I worked part-time at Olive Garden as a waiter. And the one kid I worked with was half Vietnamese and half white. His dad was a Vietnam veteran, had gone over there, married a woman that was Vietnamese, brought her back over here. He was born, and so I worked with him. This is in the 90s, okay? And he hated the blacks. I mean, hated the blacks. And I used to say to him, I go, dude, why? Well, my dad did. Well, so what if your dad did? That doesn't mean you have to. I go, dude, you're mixed race. There's people who are going to hate you just because you're half Vietnamese. I said, that's stupid. It's just stupid. And, but again, it's like, it's a choice. You can choose or you can let it go. It's up to you. So, but anyway, that's just me. So, but I know I'm not going to roll. So I don't. So I'm going to ask here again. We got 233 in the chat. We're at 141 on the thumbs up. Can we hit 200? That would be 58 more thumbs up, guys. Can we hit 200? So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you again to do so, please, to show support for the channel. Again, I do appreciate it. It really does make a big difference with the algorithms, and I thank you for that reason as well. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And again, I thank you ahead of time for that. So I do want to talk more about the whole thing with Venezuela. But before we do that, again, we're at 153. So we need 47 more thumbs up, guys. 47 more. How many eggs today? Yes or no for Miss Betty White, and how many of the Easter eggers laid? So we got 3 Easter eggers, and so what is your guesses today? So we'll give you a moment to get your guesses in, and we will go from there. Just give you guys a minute to get your guesses, and keep those thumbs up coming. We got 43 away. We need 43 more thumbs up, guys, to hit 200. All right, if you guys watched yesterday's video, I think I ended up with 3 eggs yesterday. I think is what I told you guys. It was yesterday was only 3. Um, Nobody's going to get this one today. I didn't think. I didn't think you guys were going to get this one today. So I will give you a hint moving forward for right now too. Okay. Today we ended up with 9 eggs today, which I was shocked that it was that many, especially after only getting 3 yesterday. We had 9 eggs today. Miss Betty White did not lay, and all 3 of the Easter eggers did lay. Miss Betty White right now is molting, okay, which means she's growing new feathers. When they're growing new feathers, they are not laying eggs. Their energy is concentrated on growing those new feathers. So right now, she probably hasn't laid an egg in a week, and she's one of my most consistent birds. She lays all the time, all the time. So right now, moving forward for probably a little while, she's probably not going to be giving us any eggs. So that's just kind of a hint moving forward. So the next egg count, you can say no for Miss Betty White, and you'll probably be correct. But like I said, when she starts laying again, then you'll hear me go, yes, she laid. So, and the weather has not been pleasant. But I was actually very very surprised um, that that I got 9 eggs today. I was like, holy crap, that was awesome. But it was warmer today. Yep, no, it absolutely was warmer today. But I was really surprised that I got that many eggs today. So, but I was not unhappy about it. So, all right, guys, we need 40 more thumbs up, 40 more to get to 200. So let's keep those coming, please. All right, so I want to get back to the situation with Venezuela, guys. We're not putting all that manpower, all that resources down there, all those ships, all those men, all those planes, all those helicopters to not do something. Okay. Uh, I just think that they're waiting for whatever the boss says when he says, and I think they're going in. I right along kept saying I hope we don't, and I still hope we don't. But I think they want a regime change, and we are the bully of the world. We are still the top dog right now. And I would not be surprised. I will not be shocked if we wake up and say, we've done a strike on Venezuela and we've taken out, the Maduro or whatever his name is. I think it's Maduro. But, and like I said, I don't think that ever ends well in any stretch of the imagination. Uh, you know, at one time, Venezuela was a very prosperous country, very, very wealthy country. And then the communists took over, right? And what's happened now? It's bad. Part of the reason it's bad is because of us with all the sanctions and all that type of stuff. So, is it an act of war or just control move because of the drugs? Who knows? Who knows really if they're the top people are involved in drugs? I'm sure there's plenty of people in our country at high levels that are involved in drugs. Okay, that would not shock me at all. Yeah, we are top dog for now, but the question is for how long? Well, in every empire falls eventually. Every empire falls. So I mean, it's just we've had a nice run here. Rome had a run. Oh my God, Rome had a run, didn't they? A long time. They had a run for a long time, but eventually, it got torn down. It wouldn't shock me if that happened here. It really wouldn't. Will it happen in my lifetime? I don't know. You know, I know that like I said, I've said this before, we can't keep doing what we're doing now. We can't keep doing that. It's not going to work. It's not sustainable. Giving money to all these countries around the world, all these programs for people that don't want to work or won't work, and they're getting all these benefits. That's not helping. So yeah, JG just said a reminder, folks. Please hit the hype button on Ed's regular daily videos, and I would appreciate that if you would do that. That really does help the channel out as well. I guess you can do up to 3 hypes a week per person. So if you feel like you'd like to hype one of my videos, I absolutely would appreciate that, and thank you very, very much for doing so. So on average, most empires last 200 to 300 years, give or take 100 years. Yes, and I think Rome was almost like 1,000 years, weren't they? I mean, they were a long time. Rome was a long time. Maybe not 1,000, maybe 500, but Rome fell from within. Too many wars. Is that familiar, right? Stretched too thin with the empire, and greed. That's what happens. That's what happens. So we're at 172 thumbs up, guys. We need 28 more. So again, if you have not done that yet, please do so. For fun, I'd like to see it hit 200. That's just, like a game for me. That's just my thing. I like 200 thumbs up during a live stream. So, but devaluation of currency, absolutely. That's what happened with Rome. Less and less silver in the coins, less and less gold in the coins, and they eventually, and look what this last administration did. They just print money like that it's just keep printing, and billions and billions of dollars. So, yeah, the chat went fast. Yeah, no kidding. We got like 8 minutes to go. Gone real fast, real fast. So, but anyway, like I said, it's just, again, keep doing the best that you can. That's all we can. That's what we can control. That's the only thing we can control. We're never going to be able to control what the government's going to do. There's nothing we're going to be able to do about that. But what you can control is what happens in your household, what you're doing, what your decisions are for your families, and and stuff like that. And again, the more prepared you are, the better off you're going to be. And I think that's really, really important. Really important. So we're at 177, guys. We need 23 more thumbs up in 7 minutes. Can we do it? Can we do it? So 23 more thumbs up, please, and thank you. So, but yeah, the upper class destroyed the middle class. Exactly. And that's what they've been doing for a very, very long time. Very long time. But, you look at the cost of everything now. The cost has gotten out of hand. Groceries are just outrageous to get groceries. Unbelievable. But I will tell you, one of the things I did stock up on today. I love this stuff, man. I'm telling you. And it's so freaking expensive. $1.92 a can. $1.92 a can. Ed, if the U.S. invades Venezuela, what do you think it will trigger? It would depend on the China and Russia and all those guys that got their finger. Well, China's really expanded. They've expanded in Africa big time, but that's what we got to be concerned about. But yeah, so it's $1.92 a can, but I picked up 6 more cans of that today. So got to keep my stock up of that. But yeah, and that's the one that I will buy name brand. Bean and bacon, I don't care. I'll get the off brand. Vegetable beef, I'll get the off brand. Chicken noodle, chicken and rice, I'll buy the off brands. I don't care. Tomato soup, same thing. I'll buy the off brand. It depends though with tomatoes. Some of the tomato soups off brands are not so good. If you guys have had them, you'll know. So, but yeah, I think silver is going to probably still keep going up. Yeah, somebody said silver is over $62 today. That's crazy. That's just crazy. Yeah, I'll have to look at that after the live stream. But so we're at 180, guys. Oh, are we gonna? We're not gonna make 200 thumbs up. I need 20 more. 20 more thumbs up, please, please, please. At the CEO of Campbell's Soup said in a meeting, "Why do we continue to make this product for poor people?" Really? Well, they're not making it for poor people at the cost of what it is. That's for sure. That is for sure. I had somebody made a comment, and I kind of wanted to bring this one up too. And they were saying that I'm buying. They were talking about me that I'm buying engineered food. Why are you keep buying that engineered food? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Rice is not engineered. Wheat is not engineered. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Um, yeah, I'm not sure what they were trying to get to with that. So, but I was like, I think I've done pretty good stocking up. A lot of beans. God, we got a lot of beans. As a group, we have a lot of beans. That's for sure. I think we're like, as a group, we're over 800 pounds of beans alone. So we got like, I think we're at like 340 pounds of rice. But just check, silver is now at 63. Wow. Okay. Yeah. And see, that should, when you see silver and gold going into numbers that they're going to, that should scare the crap out of you, because that is hyperinflation. Absolutely. Devaluing of the dollar. That's been going on for quite a while. Really something to be concerned about. Really needs to be concerned about. Read the back of a can, contains bioengineered products. Okay. I'll have to look and see. But all right, what do we got? 183, 17 more. We're not making it. We're not making 200. Well, it was a valiant effort. Campbell's soup is genetically modified. The controversy just popped up in the last week or so. Well, then they would have to have it on the can, right? I'm not seeing anything on here saying that. So I don't know. I don't know. But what I like about like this type, it's not a pop top. Okay, I like it that it's not a pop top. That's uh, that's a big one for me. So it's 3D printed meat. How do you know? I mean, honestly, I mean, do you know for a fact? Are you there watching what they're doing? I don't know if that's a fact. I think a lot of times things are said that are not necessarily true. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong, but realistically, how do you know? I mean, I know that they're making that kind of meat. I know they're doing that. So we got 189, guys. We need 11 more. 11 more. 11 more thumbs up. So let's see how close we can get before we jump off of here. So, but yeah, like I said, they're going to do what they're going to do. All right. I mean, there's a lot of ways they can poison us, and a lot of ways they've been poisoning us, and that's not, any kind of fabrication. So, Mary Taylor says my count says 210. Mine is saying 191. That's where mine's at. It says 210 in the chat. Yeah, there's 210 in the chat, but we got 191 thumbs up. That's what I'm talking about, Mary. Now we're at 192. So 8 more, guys, if you can do it. I'll stay on all the way to 9 o'clock. That's 2 more minutes. Campbell's is having a radical controversy because of the CEO. I had no idea. No idea. So now we're at 194. We got 194 thumbs up, 195 now, guys. 5 more. We need 5 more thumbs up. But yeah, like I said, again, it's just, there's always going to be this. And again, what you have to understand, a lot of the stuff that's being talked about is to keep you distracted, to pay attention to this while we go ahead and do this over here. That happens a lot. That absolutely happens a lot. So we got 196. So we need four more now. 4 more, please. But anyway, like I said, it was a good day today. I got a lot of stuff done that I needed to get done, which was awesome. So here's the weird thing. I wanted to share this with you. So when I do something like getting the propane tanks filled up, right? And when all my propane tanks are filled up, it makes me feel good, right? I'm like, yes, this is awesome. And that's kind of, I don't know, yeah, we need 2 more. We're at 198. We need 2 more thumbs up. Now we lost one. Somebody took it away. But again, am I the only one like that when you do something and you can look at it and you go, God, I feel really accomplished about that. I don't know. It's just kind of, I just enjoy that. It's just like going, okay, I'm in good shape again. So now I'm still seeing 198. That's what I'm seeing is 198. Now it's 199. So we need 1 more, guys. Give me 1 more, and then I'm going to sign off. Well, I'll start the signing off right now. You guys give me that 1 more thumbs up. There's 200. Awesome. All right. So thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I didn't think we were making 200, but we did. So remember, guys, if you set realistic goals, you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to if you follow one simple thing. STD. Step, thing, and day. 1 step at a time, 1 thing at a time, and 1 day at a time. Whatever you were trying to accomplish, whatever you were trying to do, you can do it. The only person stopping you from reaching your goals is going to be you. Okay, remember that. Stay away from negativity. Stay away from negative people that tell you what you can't accomplish. You can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. So remember that, okay? We can be our own worst enemies at times. So anyway, guys, 203, so that's awesome. Thank you very much. You guys have a great night. I will see you for the live stream on Wednesday. Where is today? What is today? Today's not Sunday. Today is Wednesday. Losing my mind. All right, I'll see you for the live stream on Friday. How's that? There we go. Oh my God, that's too funny. Anyway, so I'll see you guys on Friday. Have a great night, guys. I will talk to you later. Keep prepping. Take care of your families. That's the important thing. I will see you later. Preppers 1 out for now.